here's the guide that you make sure you never waste your best gear ever again. Hi guys, this is Frostbite and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. So, gearing mistakes are really common, especially in newer players. This guide will cover stat priority, gear set choices, and row by row breakdown. And just to be clear, some rules are exception because some champions have different skill sets. So keep in mind of that, be smart. My first row I will cover is none other than the nuker. We all love doing damage, right guys? In all games there is one damage dealer that we just love the numbers and big criticals and everything, right? But in this game you definitely need to know how to gear your damage dealer. So let's get to it. As a pure damage dealer, we're not talking a damage dealer hybrid that needs accuracy for some debuffs or other stuff that I will mention later on this video. Let's take Georgit, because he is a pure damage dealer with no debuffs, no nothing. First thing you need to know, and you need to check what type of a damage dealer you are working with. Wait up! If you ever wanted to start Raid the right way, this is it. Click on my link in the description right now to get Elenaril for free and 3 more insane epics as you level up. Here's exactly what you need to do. Log out of Prayer on Prey on your PC and uninstall it. Click on my link below and sign up with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Open your inbox and boom! Your first champion is waiting! You'll get Elenaril right away and then unlock Vergis, Tagoar and Deacon Armstrong as you level up. Plus, use promo code DESERTQUEEN for a void legendary Tuhanarak. That's 5 champions to carry your account, so smash that link and let's dominate this game together! There are 3 types actually. There are attack damage dealers, there are defense damage dealers, and there are HP damage dealers. How to check it? First thing, see right here, legendary champion attack. Second, check the skills, damage based on attack. This is the most important thing to check, guys. Here, damage based on attack and his A3 again. Keep in mind, let me show you, some champions can be different. Some champions like Felhound. As you can see, he is a defense type champion, but his A1 actually scales both with defense and with attack. So always double check your skills, guys. So back to Georgit. Number 1 stat you will definitely need is crit rate. Without crit rate on 100%, you will not do any damage. You will just do normal attacks and that's it. So crit rate is on number 1. The number 2 stat for damage dealer is high critical damage. So let's see on what gear we can get those. Crit rate, if you're starting out, let's say not Georgit, but your starting champion will be KO, right? So as you can see, my KO is actually not geared anymore. I don't use him maybe at all for now, but let's pretend you are just starting to gear up KO. Number 1 stat, critical strike. So you go here and try to find your best critical strike main stat gloves that you have. How you do that? You do that by here clicking on gloves and primary stat critical rate, right? So let me tell you something really important, especially this is really important in the beginning of your Raid Shadow Legends journey. Prioritize stats over gear sets. Most important thing, because the gear set stat that a gear can give you is much lower than a proper main stat. So crit rate, main stat on gloves, most important. After you accumulate some good gear, you will transition to crit rate damage gloves like this one, right? And of course you will definitely need some crit rate substats. So the next stat a damage dealer needs, it's depending on the champion, right? If it is defense, HP or attack champion, it's defense, attack and HP main stats. Where you can get those? Again, excluding the gloves, because gloves most important, right? Crit damage. You get it in the chest. Right here, there it is, an HP chest, right? With crit damage and some speed. That is not that great of a chest right here. But for a starter champion, maybe this will be your best gear, right? For KO actually is really bad because this is an HP main stat chest, but if you can get main stat attack. For a champion like, let's say here, Embry's HP, because he's an HP nuker, right, in his second form here, and his abilities. Oh, and by the way, damage based on HP and accuracy. He's a special champion, so don't think about Embry's right in the beginning, right? You will not get him soon. Here, Ultimate Death Knight, I built him as a slow damage dealer, main stat defense, and main stat defense on the boots, because a slow damage dealer. So, for a speed damage champion, you will need at least 180, 190 speed, alright? So, prioritize main stat speed on the boots, guys. As you can see here, my ninja, right? Speed here with ascension attack, crit damage here with crit damage ascension, right? After you 6-star and fully awaken your champion, by awakening I mean ascending, not awaken, ascending your champion to 6-star, right? You will unlock this SWAT right here. This is your banner. In your banner you can get more speed rolls. This is the only accessory slot that can drop speed stats. On the amulet, prioritizing critical damage. For the ring, prioritize the main stat. As you can see, triple row attack here, yeah, with a HP main stat, but a triple row attack is actually pretty good. Ninja is a really good damage dealer, but his skills need accuracy because of this HP burn debuff here and his A1 decreased defense. So he's a hybrid damage dealer. He needs accuracy, guys. Squeeze some of these stats in your gear, like here, one row here, like in the banner. An accuracy banner is perfect for this type of champions. Guidance I can share for how much accuracy you need. Let's say for the dungeons, right? If you're going for, let's say, Dragon 15, you multiply the level of the dungeon by 10. So, Dragon 15 level by 10 is 150. That is around how much accuracy you will need. For sets of a damage dealer, Savage, Lethal, Cruel, Slayer, all great sets. Ignore defense and maximize burst potential, right? If you don't have these sets, you can get critical rate set or critical damage set, or if you don't have any good artifacts from these stats, from these sets, just make a broken set with the stats you need. Remember, stat is priority over set bonuses. Now we can argue with Merciless because Merciless 9-piece set, he gives you really good set bonuses, but don't worry about these kind of sets. These kind of sets are really late in the game. You will most probably don't have them in the beginning. So one last thing for the nukers, right? Nukers, for the speed of the nukers, are maybe 95% of the times will go last from the turn order of your team. So that's usually is the 5th champion or the 4th champion if you're in arena. The first are your buffers or debuffers, then is your nuker. So second row of a champion is your buffer or debuffer, but this is actually a hybrid row or only buffer or only debuffer, so we will mention both of them on a one category, right? So let's say it's a buffer and maybe it's your turn meter buffer, right? In your arena or dungeons, most like your arena, right? So let's say, where is the turn meter buffer? The most used one, the most popular is Arbiter, right? You build your Arbiter with one thing in mind: speed, right? So for the damage dealer, I told you stats over sets, right? But with speed it can actually be not so true, because speed set gives you the one stat a speed booster needs. It's only speed. If you have a good speed set with some good rolls on speed, actually will be better for all around speed booster. Priority stat number one is speed. Then if they are debuffer, like let's say Lady Kimi, she is a speed booster with debuffs. She needs accuracy, so second stat is accuracy. If you don't need the accuracy, is survivability, which means HP percent and defense percent overall, all of them. You know the drill, HP percent in the chests, but as well in the gloves. Right here it's not HP percent because it's a triple roll speed, it's a good speed roll, so that is one more thing I should mention. If you got, let's say, a good chest but with a flat stat, a good speed set chest, right, with a flat stat, let's say attack main stat. What I mean by a flat stat is not a percentage stat, right? So, but it rolls 4 times speed, you will save this piece. This piece is a godlike item. It doesn't matter that it's a flat stat, use it in your speed champions, for sure. So, for sets, speed set, accuracy set, perception set, some of the newer sets are protection, right? These champions on the turn order should move first before your damage dealers, so remember that, like decrease defense, weaken, etc, etc. One more thing to mention about the fastest champion but with accuracy, right? Right here for Lady Kimi, she needs the accuracy because of her debuffs, but there are champions that need accuracy but they don't do any debuffs, right? That is turn meter manipulation. It's not a debuff, but it is something you do to the enemy. Remember, if you do something to the enemy, you will need accuracy for it. It doesn't matter if it's a debuff, it's turn meter manipulation, it's like debuff strip or whatever it is. If you do it to the enemy, you need accuracy. Even Yumeko with her decreased cooldown skill reduction, right? Accuracy needed. For me, Yumeko is my fastest champion with the most accuracy I can give her for the speed that she has. Okay, next on the row for champions is crowd controllers and tanks. So what is a crowd controller? Even Yumeko is a crowd controller, right? Because she disrupts the enemy team. One other disruptor or crowd controller, it's Death Knight. Why? He has a fear debuff, which is a crowd control, a provoke debuff on his A1. Other crowd controllers here, Mithrala Lifebane, because of her petrification. Again, one more, most probably the most famous disruptor in this game is Tholin. Freezes with provokes. How you build a champion like this? With accuracy, with some speed, and with good survivability, especially if the champion has a taunt debuff, HP percent, defense percent, and again some speed, preferably faster than your damage dealer. For these types of champions, the sets that you need is maybe Relentless, Pinpoint, Stone Skin, Perception, Reflex. All of these are great sets for this type of champions. So, a pro tip for the tanks. If the tank does not land his taunt or decrease defense or decrease attack, is a huge fail. So make sure you got your accuracy right. Row number 4 is healers and revivers. For the healers, let's say again. So what does a healer need? He needs to be fast and to survive last in the battle. This is the most important thing of a healer, right? So let's say White Queen on Korra, right? Speed all the way for me. But top priority is survivability. Right here, HP percent with speed. Here, HP main stat with speed on the banner. HP on the amulet, right? Accuracy if you need, if the reviver is actually with some good debuffs. If it's not, like let's say Arbiter, Arbiter has a debuff on she's A1, a weekend, a good weekend, but it's not that of a priority. So for set recommendation of a reviver, it's speed again, it's reflex, it's relentless. Remember, build them tanky and fast, because if they die first, the revive is useless. So a quick overview and tips for substats and gear efficiency advice. Always prioritize main stat first. Gloves, chest, boots. If you need speed, if you need HP percent, if you need defense percent, if you need attack percent. Then you're looking at the substat. Let's say speed, HP, critical rate, critical damage, right, for damage dealers, etc, etc. Remember, bad stats can ruin your sets. Always double check. For example, if you have an HP based damage dealer, putting him with a main stat chest with attack percent. Bad idea, guys. Waste of stats. Or even attack percent substats, right? Again, bad idea. Let me tell you some general beginner mistakes you can avoid. And maybe some of these tips I already mentioned, but don't just equip sets for the sets bonuses. Stats is greater priority than set bonuses. Again, avoid using attack percent on HP or defense based champions, or the other way around, right? Don't stack critical damage unless you have 100% critical strike chance. If you don't have 100% crit rate, you will not do damage, even if you have 400 critical damage strike, right? One more and probably extremely important thing is balance your rows. Build one damage dealer, build one reviver, build one Eternity booster, build one tank or one controller. Don't build 5 damage dealers without any support. Support is probably the most important thing in this game. So all stats and all gear recommendation from these videos are for baseline players. In general, for the general guidelines, right? And for the beginning players. Many champions are hybrid champions. You need to mix roles and stats. Make sure you're asking in the community if you don't have any idea how to build your champion. The community is great in Raid Shadow Legends. It's not that toxic community like in other games. People will help you. Even in the comments, if you comment in this video, most likely I will answer it. So guys, if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe. I love doing this type of videos, teaching new players how to play the game. So I hope I helped you just a little bit, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.